first one's going to be cabbage. The almighty cabbage. And it's a weird one because when I first started thinking about my list, I didn't see a lot of purpose behind growing the cabbage, but then I harvested some cabbage, and all of a sudden it came to life. So we grow, specifically we grow Copenhagen cabbage, which is a smaller, earlier variety. It doesn't really mean anything. You can grow whatever, but that's what we've been growing for years. And once I run out of seeds, I'll probably upgrade to something different. But they store in the refrigerator really well. I mean, we harvested some about a month ago, and we just got around to using it. So a month in the refrigerator is good. You get enough off of one head of cabbage for multiple meals or multiple purposes. Specifically, what we like to do is we shred it, and then we'll pre-make egg rolls and then put them in the freezer. So they'll be pre-cooked and everything, put them in the freezer, and then we can just pull them out and reheat them. So we'll use it that way. And then we also make sauerkraut with it. So we had 2 heads of cabbage, and we made a batch of sauerkraut, and that batch of sauerkraut would last us for the whole year. Because, I mean, how much sauerkraut, are we really eating? So
yeah.
We definitely will do that. And we may make another smaller batch of sauerkraut. I have to look and see how much we have left over, but I don't think we will. And then that's a way that you can preserve it. And you can cook it in soups, stews, which there is a difference, believe it or not. You can fry it, you can broil it, you can boil it, you can eat it raw, in salads. So there's a whole bunch of ways you can do it. And the good thing about it is it grows, like in my area in zone 8A, which is where I am. It will grow in the winter time, go dormant, and then come back, and then we can harvest it in early spring or late winter, which we're harvesting in late winter. We've harvested 5 heads so far. So you can kind of see there's a lot of uses behind cabbage.
Yeah, so for you, has the cabbage formed a head as you go into from fall to winter, like when you're overwintering it, or not yet?
It's starting to form a head in late fall, but it's not really made that solid middle yet.
Okay.
So because of our weather, it'll continue to make it, but it's really slow.
Yeah.
And so all I do is I go out and I start squeezing it and say, okay, it's not ready yet. And once I feel like it gets, when I can put my hand around it like this and then kind of feel resistance, and that's when I know it's time to harvest. But yeah, it won't start really until, I guess if you're going to make me break it down, until like mid-January, it would start forming that head. But it doesn't really get crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and your ground doesn't completely freeze over, right?
No, it doesn't. Yeah. But that being said, I think a row cover, if your ground did freeze, could significantly help. And you could, if you're in zone, I would say up to zone 6, you could probably get the same results as me, providing you didn't have like a terribly cold like winter or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll be checking because I have a bed that's under plastic for a different purpose. So I'm going to see if that soil is actually completely frozen over. But my ground freezes. It doesn't change the idea of it being, a multi-use crop. I think cabbage is an awesome one. I'm just making comments regarding kind of the growing time, the growing period. Because for me, I've actually had, cabbage is a cool weather crop. We know this now. I know this now, right? Didn't always know that. I've grown them in the summer. Yeah. And I've also grown, last year I tried a variety, planted it at the very beginning of April, and it didn't form a head, the white cabbage. My red cabbage did awesome, but the white cabbage didn't. So that's, again, kind of going back to the point of the variety definitely matters. But yeah, I think this Grow More series really opened my eyes to some other options for cabbage. Because I love it. I enjoy it in the typical kind of sauteed, kind of stir-fried kind of a way. But I always think to myself, like, how many heads of cabbage can you really consume across a period of time, right? Even knowing that they really hold well, they, in my garden, stay in the garden quite a while. And then once I bring it inside, remove the outer leaves, they stay in my refrigerator quite a while. Even knowing that, I'm kind of like, well, how many do I really want to grow? But when we started talking about this series and then kind of these previous episodes and today in particular, it's kind of like, okay, wait, it's a contender. Absolutely.
It is. Well, and I want to clarify something you just said. When you said stay in my garden for a while, If you're new to the show or something, you don't know what Batavia means. She said something really amazing one time.
Of course I did.
Yeah, of course. Did she say
I
anything not amazing?
You. Yeah, I appreciate you continually bringing up the amazing moment.
Yeah, of course.
Let's reflect.
But she said she uses her garden as a refrigerator. So you can leave your cabbage out there when it's done and it will stay just fine and it will continue to grow. But it doesn't mean you have to harvest it right away. So not only are you storing it outside, but you're also storing it inside. So it's just a longer process.
Yeah.
It just lasts that much longer. Which to me was a shocker until I started thinking about this episode. Like, what am I going to say? Because I couldn't think of a lot of spring vegetables that were good for multi-use.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of them we kind of lean into them being like some bit of leafy green, some like kind of brassica, and a lot of those do much better kind of for the now versus preserving. But again, great thing about this, we were able to eke out. I can think on both of our list vegetables that, they're ready to be around for a while. And